So before the class even started, I created this piece you see here, intending it for a contest in my hometown. It's kind of desert themed. But anyways, the first thing I did for the project, I created a texture, simple texture map that had all the materials I thought I would need or want for the buildings that you see here. And I built all the pieces for them directly off the texture map. They do have insides to them. They're built between 4 and 8 pieces to make the building. I then changed that texture map to create the saloon here. And all the other buildings you see are actually pretty much the same texture map, colors changed, and pieced together in different combinations of what I used to build the first 2 buildings. And actually, there's only 3 truly different buildings in there. Here are my characters. I'm looking to make this a fantasy sci-fi western game. So I will have elements of technology in there. Most of the characters won't actually be human. Here's the start of my hero characters playing around trying to get hair texture to look decent, because I have never succeeded at that so far. But I have the ballistic character book now and saw the Unreal concept for it. Here you have the basic geometry for my character. He's just over 4,000 polys right now, and I can optimize it down a little further. In this shot, you could see I took the character and composited him into my building scene. I started playing around with some UI concepts just to get ideas flowing before I actually implement them. I'm looking at the over-the-shoulder view right now for it, simply because it's easier to script in there. But I would like a more third-person floating camera view. Here, you can see, initially I was going to try using the Unity engine so I can learn a new game engine, especially since in my other class I'm going to be learning the engine at the end of the course. But a few issues I had that made me switch back to UDK is, one, it took me entirely too long to figure out how to get the asset into the engine. And 2, I also noticed that while it's easy to get the textures imported and materials created, because it pretty much takes them straight from your max file, and it does, however, not include as nice of lighting and shadows as Unreal does if you just have the free version, from what I read in the book I was using. So here we're in UDK now. I got the assets in there. They're not looking too bad. I got some texture fixes to do. I need to fix the layout for my town. I haven't actually figured that out too well yet. So far it's pretty straightforward. I got also, the buildings are giving me a little bit more headache than I thought, so I might not get to some of the small creatures I wanted to create. And this guy's also giving me some issues too, because I need to create another texture to pan across my sky. Here you can see I also started playing with some bot spawning, figuring out where I would like to place my enemies eventually. Just figuring out how to purposely spawn enemies in the first place. Having little issues, as you can see here. I believe my terrain may be a little too large. I need to shrink it down in size so that the game could perform better. There's also, as I was testing this, I decided I may actually want to incorporate the jet boot function into my character design, because I do kind of like how the jump works in the game. All in all, I think I'm doing pretty decently, but not quite on the schedule I wanted.